Hey guys, Billy Davidson here with Davidson Pressure Washing Painting. We're going to show you how to wash a jet aircraft hangar. Alright guys, in this YouTube video, we're going to talk about pressure washing a jet aircraft hangar, whether it's general aviation or military hangars. This would apply to each. If you hadn't hit that subscribe button, please do so now so you won't miss the next video we upload or when we go live from our pressure washing job sites. Whenever you're doing metal buildings, especially aviation hangars, there are a few things you might need to know about. We're going to go over each in this YouTube video. Unlike other commercial buildings, aviation hangars could have a lot of accessories attached to the exterior wall. Some of these accessories could be communication boxes, data cables, antennas, fire suppression. There is a lot of things attached to aviation hangars that you won't find on other commercial buildings such as this. So we're going to go over a couple things, how we protected those accessories and assets on this particular building. In addition to some of these assets attached to the exterior walls of this aviation hangar, you also have an array of video camera and audio sensors on the building itself. Some of these sensors has to be very well protected from our sodium hypochlorite. Now, oftentimes these sensors are waterproof or water resistant, but that necessarily does not mean that they are compatible or will be resistant to sodium hypochlorite. Using our very specific cleaning solutions on this building, we had to protect the camera and audio sensors attached to the building, along with VHF, UHF, and other data cables and antennas attached to the building itself. Oftentimes, some of these video sensors do have an anti-glare film on the camera lens, and sodium hypochlorite is not compatible with that anti-glare coating. Other things we want to protect from sodium hypochlorite or either high pressure water is the fire suppression modules on these buildings. Oftentimes when we do aviation aircraft hangars, the prep work going into this before we get started sometimes is hours long. You have to keep that in mind. Make sure you allocate enough prep time so you can protect these assets on these buildings before you spray your first drop of water. Having a good crew around you with the knowledge base and foundation of training to protect some of these assets attached to aviation hangars is imperative. On this particular project, we had almost 3 hours of prep work before we got started, just covering things, taping things up, using the correct bagging and plastic on some of the camera lens to protect it. In addition, we did not want our bagging to impede any signals that this aviation hangar were to receive during the day. Another very important thing, before we got started on this, we was in contact with the pilots that were in charge of the safety of these aircraft stored in this hangar. We let them know what we would be doing, a time frame, when we was going to start, when we would approximately end. And also, we always have to keep in mind that these aircraft could leave at a moment's notice. So we have to have our equipment in a position to where we can get out of the way ASAP if needed. Right here, we're looking at some other sensors that were attached to the building as far as communication sensors and data cables. We definitely took our time covering this up, triple bagging some of these areas, making sure that our sodium hypochlorite was not going to encroach into the device itself. In addition to that, we did not use sodium hypochlorite around these sensors. We did some hand work around these areas using some mild soap to clean those areas. Another problem that you could occur when covering some of these sensors is after leaving these bags and tape on these sensors all day, we have to make sure that we don't have any glue stuck on it or any melted plastic that's stuck to some of these sensors once we unbag everything and leave for the day. So we had to make sure everything was very clean, well wiped off. Another very important thing we had to be very careful with is not push water into these small cracks and crevices around this hangar door. So we had to choose the correct angle to spray these buildings and to do our work. If we had done it all from the ground, we could have pushed water inside of some of these weather stripping, protecting the inside of the hangar. It was important for us to be very mindful of our spray going into the secured area of this hangar. Also wanted to make sure we were protecting locks and keypads, and also making sure we didn't have any loose debris left on the ground, because there was a lot of aircraft around here moving around. Airports and military bases in general are a very windy place to work. One reason is wide open spaces with no trees around. Another reason, you have a lot of aircraft moving back and forth, putting out wind at a tremendous force. We definitely didn't want one of our surfactant jugs to go flying across the tarmac into one of the paths of these aircraft moving around. In addition to protecting the assets and sensors that are attached to the exterior walls of this hangar, and also keeping our equipment and other things that we're using on a job site, such as tools and surfactants and buckets, keeping all that in one place and inventoried. After we did our surface cleaning, we had to make absolutely sure there was no rocks or pebbles left into the taxiway or any of the other taxi aprons around this hangar. Leaving the concrete very clean, sand-free, and no pebbles around is really important when working around aviation aircraft hangars and taxiways. I really think it's very important to have a checklist when doing some of this type of work. Have a good crew around you. Also, having the experience and the knowledge base how to go after some of these jobs could net you thousands and thousands each day. Earning thousands of dollars each day pressure washing aviation hangars could be very important to grow your pressure washing business into you and your family. Not just some guy on here with a YouTube channel. I do this day in and day out, and this is how I make my living. If you're looking to grow your pressure washing business with some very exclusive training, please go visit BillyDavidsonVIP.com. Again, I'm Billy Davidson here with Davidson Pressure Washing and Painting, and I hope to see you in the next video.